Good morning, year 4. I hope you're all well. I hope you got on well with yesterday's subtraction challenges. Today we're going to be moving your learning on a little bit further. Now, if you want to do the Sapphire challenges, which are the simplest, then please log on to the Sapphire video where Mrs. Doolan will be talking about how to complete your calculations. However, Mrs. Doolan gives you a very simple approach, just worth considering, and this will be helpful for any of you on the mental arithmetic in a moment, just worth considering bridging through 10 when you are subtracting. For example, if I look over here, I've got 14 subtract 5. One way to do that is to essentially, if I make 14 on these 10 squares, you can see 10 cubes, and then I've got another 4 cubes, giving me 14. If effectively I take away my 4 first of all, takes me to 10, then I subtract 1 more and I'm left with 9. A similar approach here on the number line with bridging through 10. Instead of just doing 13 take 7 in my head, I could do 13, take away my 3. Here I'm on 13, take away the 3, and then from there subtract the 4, give me the answer of 6. So all I've done is, instead of subtracting 7, I've subtracted 3 to get to 10, then subtracted a further 4. Obviously subtracting 3 and subtracting 4 is my subtracting 7. Now, I'd like you to think about this when approaching these mental arithmetic questions and think about actually bridging through 100. So if you could try these now, and I'll ask you to stop the video. Welcome back, year 4. So here are the answers to your mental arithmetic questions. I'll just go through a couple of them. So something we've spoke about a few times recently, bridging through 100. If I'm adding 50 to 283, then I can be looking at this tens column. If I actually first of all add 20 in my head, I'm going to get to 303. Then I can add an additional 30, and that will get me to 333. So initially I added the 20 to get to 303, then I added 30 to get to 333. Again, this isn't the only strategy, but it can be a helpful one for bridging and going through that hundreds barrier. If I now look at a subtraction question, I'm going to subtract 80. I can see 80 is going to be more than the 60 that I've got here. I know therefore it's going to go to 8,800 and something. But if I subtract the 60 first of all, then I end up with 8,900 and, sorry, my apologies there, 8,904. And then I can subtract my further 20, which takes me to 8,884. Today then, we're going to be using written method again for subtraction with exchanges. Similar to yesterday, we need to clearly show our exchanges. Now, we had a look yesterday at what a good one looks like. We talked about the fact that we've got our partitioning method, as well as our compact method, which is the one that the majority of us are using. Therefore, it's going to be the one that I focus on during this input. Today, I very much want us thinking, though, about decimals, unless you're going to be completing the bronze challenge. But if you're going to be doing the silver or gold, I want you thinking about decimals. And this is far simpler if you therefore use the compact method. So, similar to yesterday, I reminded you that some problems will have no exchanges, or some calculations will have no exchanges, some calculations will have 1 exchange or 2 exchange or more. Now, you might be able to see which ones are going to have more than 1 exchange already. The most important thing before we start is to put my decimal place in the same position where it is in my place value system. So I've got tens and ones, and then I've got tenths of a pound, and hundredths of a pound. My decimal point stays in the same place. 2 take away 0 is going to give me the answer of 2. If I use the inverse, as I did yesterday, 2 added to the 0 takes me back to 2. I know that this is correct. 2 subtract 1 is going to give me the answer of 1. Again, use the inverse. 1 add 1 gives me the answer of 2. Decimal point has stayed in the same place. That is key. Now, I can't subtract 7 from 4, so I'm going to need to exchange. So I'm going to change my 3 tens to 2 tens. I'm going to carry a 10 across, effectively giving me 14 ones, a 10 and a 4. So 14 ones, take away 7. Well, I know that double 7 is 14. So I've already used my inverse there to say 7 add 7 makes 14. 14 subtract 7 is 7. And 2 subtract 1 is 1. Double 1 is 2. Then please put on your pound sign as well. Does my answer look realistic? 2 lots of 17, making 34 and some pence as well. Yes, it does. And I had to do one exchange in that problem. If I come down here, hopefully you can remember the first thing to do with money is to put your decimal point so you've got it in the same column. 5 subtracted from 1 I can't do. Okay, these 500ths I can't take from 100th, so I'm going to need to cross off the 6, making it a 5, carrying my 1 across. Okay, I've taken across effectively 1/10. 1/10 and 1/100th effectively gives me 11 hundredths. I've got 11 hundredths of a pound, subtract 5 hundredths of a pound. So my 11 subtract 5 is going to give me 6. 6 add 5 takes me back to 11. 5 subtract, and I'll just make that a little bit clearer that that actually is a 1 that's gone there. 5 subtract 4 is going to give me 1. So 5 tenths subtract 4 tenths is going to give me 1/10. 1/10 of a pound. Okay, 1/10 of a pound is 10 pence. Now I can't subtract 2 from the 0. So I'm going to need to exchange. This is going to become a 2. This is going to become a 1. So 2 away from 10 is 8. Use my inverse to check. 8 add 2 is 10. And 2 take 2 is 0. Again, I don't need to put my 0 in there. I do, however, need to put my pounds notation. So I'd like you, please, to always look to see if your answer is realistic. £22 at £8 I know is £30, and I've got some pence. Yes, my answer looks realistic. Now, I'd like you to check your answers. And today, what I have done is I have provided, I'll show you in a moment, the answers for you. However, personally, I think the best way to check answers is as you're going along. Therefore, if you do a question, you check it and you've got it wrong, you can rectify your mistakes. Whereas if you complete 8 calculations and you're making the same mistake lots of times, you've wasted an awful lot of time. So personally, I would still use my online calculator, complete the question, check your answer. Now, if I pull up today's work for you, then we can see the Sapphire challenges with an example of that modelling I did at the start, and there are some tens grids and number lines for you to print off to help with your working out should you need them. Similar to yesterday, I've called this Day 2 challenges for the bronze task. Now this bronze task, again, you've got tasks A through to E, and it's all about how many exchanges that you want to do. If you're not feeling very confident, you could start with 2-digit numbers. And if you're feeling more confident, you could do the 3-digit number challenges. We can see that silver today involves money, and we've got some 3-digit numbers and 4-digit numbers, and we've got 3 problems to solve at the end. Please, if you do print this, or even if you're just copying them down from the screen, obviously please just look at the answers at the end. The gold, you're either going to complete 4 digits, 4-digit numbers, subtract 4-digit numbers, or 5-digit numbers involved in some questions as well. And again, you've got some problems, and again, you've got the answers. Please just look at those at the end. And I've already stressed the importance of actually using an online calculator as you go. So I hope you enjoyed today's lesson.